In today's video, I'm going to go into a subject on how does debt collectors, the debt collection gets to court, and what you must know in order to create some preventative measures to prevent you want to create some preventative measures on staying out of court. How to address these debt collectors when they send you a correspondence through the mail, over the email, telephone call, text messaging, whatever source of correspondence that they are corresponding with you through. So, but this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. I do not offer legal advice. I do not offer financial advice. If you would like legal advice and financial advice, then I suggest you find yourself a competent professional, and please be advised. What I'm about to say here is strictly for education and information purposes only. Welcome to Blind Intelligence, where the rules, the rights, and the responsibilities put you back in control. Well, hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. This is a nice, good morning. At the recording of this video, this was done in the morning time. But I wanted to get an early start before I do my morning show on this, because I really want us as consumers to understand. But when you're dealing with these debt collectors, and you need to know how to deal with them, and you have to keep your emotions out of it, because their psychological strategy is to put your emotions in it, and that is the worst way in order to combat them, because you cannot think when you're angry and when you're upset, or overwhelmed, So let us begin. All right. So the debt collector sends you a letter in the mail. Whether it's we're gonna say the debt junk buyer, whether it's LV&V, portfolio recovery, or one of those debt junk buyers. There's a whole bunch of them, and a lot of them are attorneys. But they be debt junk buyers. And what is a debt junk buyer? Debt junk buyer is a company that gets the debt when your creditor, let's say you got a loan from either the loan company on the street, whether if it's like somebody, ABC loan company, or you may go to the bank and get a loan, or you might get finance some furniture, But anyway, they loan you, they extend you some credit, and then you're supposed to pay them back. You don't pay them back. Okay, you don't pay them back because you fell on hardship of some sort, and now the creditor has charged it off. They took it from pay status to non-pay status because they're going to write it off, right? Now, not saying that you don't owe the debt, because they did that. It's still that you still owe the debt, but they just taking it from one part of the ledger and putting it on the other side, because at the end of the year they're going to charge it off on their taxes, like do a cancellation of debt or something like that, or whatever the case may be. So the creditor, he has a whole bunch of you know, a whole bunch of people that didn't pay, those that, pay their loans, that creditor. So he got them all stacked in one particular portfolio. They're all named on because they had to they got to do it like that in order to keep it organized, right? All right. So what happens is they take it and they just set it on the side after they done did all they want they was going to do it. And what it is I don't know if they call these companies or these companies call them, say, hey, what you got, whatever the case may be. I don't know how it works, but apparently LVNV, Midland Funding Portfolio Recovery, and Portfolio Recovery, and some of these, these debt junk buyer attorneys, they'll go in and they'll pick them up for pennies on a dollar. Now, what does the pennies on a dollar really mean? Well, when we people in this particular space say pennies on a dollar, well, that whole portfolio recovery might be worth, oh man, we talking about $60,000 to $70,000, maybe more. But let's just say, for example, it's worth about $50,000. Well, they pick some up for maybe $150, maybe $100. Just that one little sheet, one little sheet, and let's say, because they might be different, they're going to be different accounts with different amounts on them for which those consumers owe you. That's you, the consumer, and they're going to start. So what they do, they're going to go back to their offices and they're going to have a crew of people, and those crew of people is going to be, they're going to have this sheet and they're going to assign all them people those different numbers so they can call and bug the heck out of them so they can make those payments, whatever remaining balance is that's that pertains to their case, the consumer rather. So this is where you come in at as a consumer. They're calling you. This debt junk buyer is calling you, or they're sending you a letter, or text messaging, or whatever medium of contact that they are contacting you in. This is what they do. Now, you on the other hand, you got to know what your rights are. You got to know where they stand and where you stand, especially where you stand. Because if you don't know where you stand, you definitely don't know where they stand. Because if you know where you stand, you know that they don't stand nowhere. Now I'm sitting here telling you that they don't stand nowhere, but if you don't know where you stand at, that's not going to help you, because you don't know what that is. What does that mean really? And why they don't stand, why they don't have standing. You see? So before you go willy-nilly saying, yo, Raphael, Mr. Bird said he said that they don't have standing. So let me go in here and stick my chest out a little further. But you need to know where you stand at as a consumer. Okay. Now, they pick this stuff up and they coming after you. They send you a letter. Let's just go with the letter situation. They send you a letter through the mail. You open it. You see it's, that junk buyer. Now you owed $2,000. You owe $2,000 to your creditor. Now they're coming after you, and they're gonna say, well, we're collecting on behalf of your creditor. That's gonna be a story. But at the very end of that document, by law, they have to say, this is a debt collector collecting on a debt. That's your that's your key. That's your key. That's how you know. Now, if you know who Midland Funding is and you know that they're junk buyers, and this is how you deal with them. Immediately when you get the mail, You don't play. You respond immediately. I don't care if you do it by hand, and it would be better for you to do it by hand. You can do it in black ink and sign it in blue. Do it in blue ink and sign it in red. Either way, you can type it up, sign it in blue, or sign it in red. You know, you have to understand these debt junk buyers. They have to validate the debt under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act under 15 U.S.C. 1692G. That's validation. They have to validate this debt. If they can't validate this debt, until they validate the debt, they must cease all communications. They can't call you no more. At all. Period. Point blank. They can't call you. They can't send you a letter. They can't text you. They can't email you. They can't do no medium of correspondence with you. And this is how you assert your rights. I'm giving you some valuable information. What you do with it, it's up to you. You can believe me or you do not have to believe me. And I say, do not believe me. Go and do your due diligence and go and read this information for yourself. Now I'm singing the same song that anybody else is saying. Corey P. Smith, Darian Delavante, the law firm out there in Florida, the different law firms that comes on YouTube. They say we all singing the same song. Sherry Beckley, we all singing the same song. So, but you do your due diligence. And don't believe none of us. Don't believe none of us. You must go and you must read this information for yourself. And compare notes. Compare notes. Because the only person that's going to be able to fix this is you. I can't fix it for you. I can't fix it for you. You got to fix this. Now, let me say this, and let me be clear. Yeah, you can get a consultation from me. You can get a consultation from me. And I can, draw up some paperwork and everything and help you submit it and everything like that. But if you get a consultation from me, you're going to have to do some work. Because you must know this stuff, because first of all, if this happens again, what you going to do? Are you going to throw money at this? Because throwing money at it is not the key. Let me tell you something. Throwing money at a situation like that, it's not going to help. I'm going to tell you why. Now I'm finna give you another nugget. If you owe your creditor, and your creditor has charged it off, and that junk buyer comes and pick it up, and you throw some money at that thing, and your creditor get a whiff of it, they can come back after you. Bet you didn't know that. And he's like, how? I thought they charged it off. That's for them. That's for their that's for their records. That's for their tax records. That ain't got nothing to do with them having your information, still being your creditor. Because at your own leisure, or even at their leisure, they could still come after you for that debt. If the statutory limitations, well, let me say this. Well, if the statutory limitations of collecting on a debt for them suing you has expired, but if the statutory, if it's not time barred, If the statute of limitations on collecting of the debt has not expired, they can still come after you. Understand that. Let's be clear on that. Just because they charged it off, that don't mean anything. And you must understand that. Now, so understand, throwing money at it is not the answer. You have to throw information at it. You have to make them prove that they own this debt. How we do this? They got to get a contract. They got to get a blue wet ink signature of a contract. They got to get an assignment from your creditor. They don't have none of that. They don't have none of that. They got to prove that they own this debt. Assignment is a letter saying that they relinquished this debt to this creditor, that they're no longer going to come after you. Point blank. Or it's going to say that they're going to collect on behalf of the creditor, like a regular debt collector. Then that's what put them in that status, and they wouldn't be in the status of a debt junk buyer. But the debt junk buyers is not going to do that. And a lot of times they're going to ignore. They may ignore your letters. Let me be clear on that. This is not a hunky-dory story. This is not a hunky-dory story. They do all illegal tactics. If the statute of limitations in your state is 3 years, them some guns may still come after you at the 5th year, at the 7th year, at the 10th year. They still may come after you. I'm telling you, they have no respect for time-barred statutes. No, at all. Them song guns, you send them a debt validation letter, them song guns still send you a letter. Now you got firepower, because you're gonna send a certified mail. You're gonna get a return receipt from the U.S. mail. You can get a notary stamp. Now you got 2 witnesses. Now, when they come back after you, now you really got standing. Now what you're going to do, when you go to court and you fill out that deposition, they decide to try to take you to court, you're going to cross-claim them. Now you got them tied up in litigation. Now, you're the plaintiff, they the defendants, you prove your case. Okay, Your Honor, I got these documents where they was told to cease and desist until they validate the debt. They did not. They sent me this letter on this date. After the date that I sent them this, 2 weeks later, they sent me this validation letter. Now you got them. Boom. Hook, line, sinker. Why? Because you did your due diligence. You did your due diligence. And that is the key to this video. This is the point. The reason why this video is being created is you understanding what your rights are. And you're asserting them in a way where it doesn't put you in a confrontational status. You're going to be in a legal status. You do anything that an attorney do. Why would you hire an attorney? Why would you hire an attorney when you can do this yourself? This is important. And a good attorney is going to tell you that. That junk buyer, they're going to say, man, you could have did that mess yourself. Yeah, but you're going to hire me. Some of them will get on your butt about it if they care. Some of them just want to make money, but that's neither here nor there. But nevertheless, but that's what I wanted to talk about today. You understanding what your rights are, and this is the process of this stuff. Look, you go to work for 8 hours a day, maybe 12 hours a day. Why would you fork over your labor to someone that you don't owe? Why would you do that? And then, let me tell you something about debt. Debt is, for me, you're a slave to the lender. And it's like it's like your future labor. You're saying that you're going to pay them in the future with your labor, and that's when you go to work and then you come back and you pay. All that is for slaves. Don't be a slave. But let me tell you what keeps you a slave, and what makes you a slave. When you don't know what your rights are. When you don't know what your rights are in this particular space, and that junk buyers, they run right all over you. By the way, if you find this video enlightening, please click like and share this video out, and share it out to you, because I really want to get this information out to as many of you as possible. And hit a brother with a Cash App or something, show me some love. I don't care if it's $5, $10, it doesn't make a difference. I am at $Foresight 718. That's $FORESIGHT 718. So leave me a Cash App, and we will definitely be coming at you with another video. I want to say thank you for watching, and till next time, hey, let your rights get better. Do more reading, do more research. Stay encouraged.